Well, he's going to lean over the table.
Okay, that's okay. I can get a probe.
We're going to have to take our probe out? I didn't bring my probe. I think we did.
There's a probe out.
There's definitely a probe out.
Or anything which would be useful in
Got it, I got it.
pointing the structures. Okay. Okay, so let's start from our internal organs. Let's look at the heart. Okay, so that's the ventricle, that's the bulbous arteriosus. Okay, and these are the things that we're going to see in the heart. Otherwise, you can simply identify that as heart.
Okay.
We don't really have to go for every single structure. Then, as we come more caudally, then we see the liver. But usually, liver also has pancreas mixed up with the liver, so we call it hepatopancreas. Okay? In certain fish, we're also going to find the gallbladder, but not all of them they have the gallbladder. So when you
Yours is pretty distinct.
you have the gallbladder there, like it usually shows as like a big sac with like clear fluid, which has like slightly bluish tinge.
Clarence, say hi.
Look at this one. Then. So this is the gallbladder. We can see like very clearly on this specimen. So that's a gallbladder here. Then other lobe of the liver on the other side. But okay, now we stop calling it liver. We call it hepatopancreas. Okay. Then this is the small intestine. I can really see the. Okay, this is the lobe of the liver or hepatopancreas on this side, and that's the stomach right here.
Where's the stomach? Okay, that white thing.
I can see like other fish in the stomach of this fish. Not really see, but I can feel that one. Okay. So the probe is in the stomach now. Okay. And I can see like there would be a fish inside or partially digested or decomposed fish in there. Okay. And then as we go, and as we go to this intestine, again, we don't bother calling it large intestine or small intestine or anything. We simply call it intestine.
Okay.
And at the junction between stomach and intestine, you're going to see those cecae, and these are called pyloric cecae. Okay, so these are the pyloric cecae right here. Blind projections or blind finger-like projections, those are the pyloric cecae. Intestine, this fish looks like has much shorter intestine. It looks like this is the carnivore fish because it has like very short digestive tract. Okay, then this is the gonad. On this side, this is the gonad for this fish. Okay, now can you see the difference between this gonad and this gonad?
Yeah.
That's a boy and that's a
Big
girl.
boy.
This is the
Girl.
girl because, or you can say this is the female
Female.
because if you try to cut this, then you're gonna feel a lot of granules in that gonad, which would be
Eggs.
the eggs. And if you do the same thing with this, nothing.
You
You're just
wouldn't
gonna
see
like.
anything.
So that would be the testis. So, but in your exam, you don't have to identify whether testis or ovaries. Just identify them as gonads. Okay, that would be enough. Then you see this swim bladder. Okay, I think in this one it is collapsed completely. Let's see if we can see this one. Even this one is collapsed. So let's see if we can put something in there and we can show you the cavity of that. Okay, so that's the swim bladder there. Swim bladder simply has function of making the fish lighter when it wants to come up. Not really lighter, but relatively lighter.
Yeah.
When it has some air, according to the volume of the fish, it becomes when it comes to the top.
Point.
But some fish they have swim bladder which can generate inert gases and release into the swim bladder, and also absorb them back when it is done or when the work is done. But some fish they have swim bladder connected to the esophagus, where they engulf some air and push it into the swim bladder, and when they're done, they squeeze it outside, and the swim bladder will deflate again. Okay, so let me see if I missed to point out anything here. Okay. So these are most of the organs in the abdominal cavity or body cavity of the fish. We should not really call it abdominal cavity or even thoraco-abdominal cavity, because those are lower vertebrates where the body cavities are not very distant. So we just call it coelom.
Coelom.
Okay, so that would be coelom or coelenterate. So, okay, so these are most of the organs in the abdominal cavity. One thing we haven't seen so far is the kidney. Okay, as we go dorsal to the swim bladder, you're going to find something like clotted blood along the vertebral column, and that is the kidney. Okay, so the kidneys are located right above the swim bladder. So in order to see the kidneys, you will have to pull off the swim bladder from the body wall. Okay? And then we have some part of the kidney going more extended, more cranially, and it's fairly large. That part is close to the head, so it is called head kidney. Not very different, just close to the head, so it is head kidney.
Scientific.
The head of the kidney, not head of the kidney, it is just head kidney. And then we have these gills here. So when you see this structure would be called operculum. When you open that one, you're going to see gill arches with gill filaments and gill rakers.
Amazing how the gills one and two get behind each other.
One gill arch,
That's
other gill arch, third one, and the fourth one. And each one has gill rakers, gill filaments, gill arch. Gill rakers, gill filament, and gill filaments and rakers are attached to the gill arch.
Okay.
The rakers are more prominent on the first one because they need to, I think they are used to like filter the water which is coming over the gills, so that it would be protected. And now look at this structure right here. It looks like it is something associated with the gills, but that structure is something which would determine the oxygen concentration in the blood, and that is called pseudo-branch or pseudo-branch.
Okay.
That would determine how much oxygen is still present in the blood, and now the fish would decide whether to continue gaseous exchange in the gills or to stop it. Okay? When you look at the structure of the gills or histological structure of the gills, there are certain venous shunts. When those shunts are open, the gill or gill filaments would be completely bypassed and no blood would go to the gill filaments. Okay? Instead of that, blood would go to the vital organs of the body. When those shunts are closed, the blood would flow through the gills and gaseous exchange would take place. And so this organ would determine whether to close or open these shunts.
So when it's closed, then
Bypass, when open, they go into the
go into the gills when it's open.
Okay, now what you see here in the fish, all the deoxygenated blood is collected into the sinus venosus, then it goes into the atrium, then it goes to the ventricle, to the bulbus arteriosus, and then to the gill. Gets oxygenated here and then go to the rest of the body. So once blood goes to the heart, it simply goes back to the body, and on its way it gets oxygenated. Unlike mammals, where the blood goes from heart to the lungs, get oxygenated, comes back to the heart, and then it is circulated throughout the body. Okay, okay guys, so that's regarding some of the internal features. Now, one important sense organ of the fish is the lateral line. You can see some dark pigmentation here. That is the lateral line, and that's going to be the important sense organ which will determine the water current, water pressure, water temperature, as well as presence of other organisms as well as other fish in the surrounding of that fish. And that would be done by the lateral line. In the oral cavity, we see the maxillary teeth, mandibular teeth, and those like the tongue and the pharyngeal teeth which are present. Okay guys, so anything else you think we skipped or we didn't go over? That's almost everything.
What is that black thing?
This,
Yeah.
I don't know, that probably scale has fallen inside.
Cool.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Just, I'm gonna keep that one also, so we'll put that
Okay.
in for